K-pop girl group Red Velvet released their third Korean full album, Chill Kill, on November 13th, 2023. I'm Courdy and welcome to BlushCat, track by track. Howdy meowers, welcome back to Track by Track. I'm finally doing Red Velvet's Chill Kill album today. I have been wanting to do it for a long time. It was one of my favorite K-pop albums in 2023, and I don't know if I got the chance to really talk about it in our 2023 favorites episode that we did, because I felt like I didn't really have that much time to listen to it when it came out, but I've definitely had plenty of time to listen to it now, and so I'm going to be doing some commentary and sharing my thoughts on each of the tracks today as usual, and it's meant to be lighthearted commentary, and I'm just sharing my opinions from a fan's perspective, so anybody who might be looking for me to talk about their technique or musicality, I'm not going to be getting super technical or specific in my comments, so I'm just going to be sharing things that I notice about like the tracks and lyrics and vocals just from the perspective of a fan or like even a casual listener. Like it's not going to be too serious or technical, just to let everyone know that. I'll also let the regular meowers know right now that pretty soon the track by tracks will not be available with the songs on Spotify. I will still put the track by track episodes on Spotify, but it's just going to look like it does on YouTube. So if you want to hear the music along with my commentary, you'll have to pull up the songs yourself. They're removing the feature on Spotify that allows me to include the official tracks with my episode. So just to let everybody know that now. And now I will get started with track 1, Chill Kill. I did already talk about Chill Kill when we did the November K-pop comebacks episode, but I'm going to be talking about the track again now. It is their title track, so some of the stuff that I have to say might be the same. I don't really remember, but just forgive me if I kind of repeat myself. But I will start by saying, Chill Kill is the perfect mix of Red and Velvet. I think that it's so catchy, it's very upbeat, but then it's also dark and chilling, and there's a bit of sophistication, which I love. The members' vocals and tones are all working so well, and they're really just elevating the song. And the whole song is just so good. The opening is so good. It's very chilling and very haunting. Just the instrumental itself, I think, is great. And then Seulgi's, iconic tone and her style that she uses, paired with Wendy and her soft vocal tone that she uses right there, it's just, we know the song is going to be good. And I think that it's honestly reminiscent of Feel My Rhythm, but they flipped the mood a bit, and it's kind of more like Psycho. And so the fact that there's a song that is sort of those two title tracks blended together, I think that's really neat. I also think it's a brilliant choice to begin the first verse with Joy. I just love the emphasis that she puts on certain syllables, but then she says crash softly, almost like it's fading out. And I love the way that Irene pauses between the words when she sings her line that begins, Chill Kill enters like thunder. And I love Yeri's line, could anything scare me, always and forever. The transition into the pre-chorus with Wendy's parts are so good, and there's a lot of little moments like that in the song that other members do, and I just think without those little details and those little moments, the song would really be incomplete without them. I think that Wendy's line, but I want to see you again, and Joy's line, could I make you stay one more time, are really catchy, and I sing those parts a lot. And the first verse and first pre-chorus are maybe my favorite parts of the whole song. It's just a very strong start, and like the mood is so dark, and I feel like we couldn't have prepared ourselves for the mood shift at the chorus, but like knowing Red Velvet, it's not like that surprising. So like I said, it's just such a good balance of the dark and the bright. we have that surprise chorus, and the drop leading into it is so good and satisfying, and I just am always getting chill kills stuck in my head. The bridge is very 80s, very retro, and I love it. The drum beat is so satisfying, and then it's like paired with those echoey vocals, and it just elevates it so much. And I love the part when they sing together at the final chorus, "Gonna change and you can't leave me." And that first part is like descending notes, you know? I really like it, and I think it's a good way to switch up the chorus. And then I love the way that Irene sings the final line, which is "gonna change myself at long last." So yes, I said I really do like this song. I like it even more now that I've heard it more. I did end up placing it as my number one favorite girl group release when we did our K-pop favorites last year. But, I wanted to go a little more in depth with it as to some reasons why I like it or find it interesting. And I would also like to recommend listening to their recording behind video of this song because I think that's pretty interesting as well. Now we'll go to track 2. This track is called Knock Knock, Who's There? And it definitely has spooky vibes. I actually feel like it could be a Shiny or a Taemin song, and I'm getting some Dreamcatcher vibes from it. I don't feel like I have too much to say about this one, but I do like the line, "The more you come in, you want it more." And I feel like this is a common lyrical theme, honestly, in a few of the K-pop songs that I've talked about before, and we're seeing it again now, but I do think that this line summarizes the song well. I like how the beginning of the song paints us a very clear picture, and I like the line at the chorus, "It's so bittersweet, but I like the chase." I think that also summarizes the song well. Although it is a little bit creepy, a little bit spooky, it's still managing to have that sense of fun, which is a very Red Velvet concept and something that they pull off really well. I think that the beat is good and it's catchy, so I definitely enjoy listening to this track. Now I'll move on to track 3, Underwater. I'll say right now that I don't necessarily have that many notes on this song. I don't really have many specific comments, but I definitely really like this track. It's very velvety. The vocals are breathy and airy in some moments, but light and soft in others, and it's definitely a contrast to the heavy and deep beats throughout the song, making it just so smooth and flawless. I think that it's something that's easily repeatable because it's not super heavy or super light. It just really does flow like water, and it definitely has underwater energy and a very dreamy element to it as well. I think that it's a bit old school in nature, but I think that it's a pretty timeless style track with great execution in my opinion, and I really enjoy listening to it. So yeah, not much to say specifically, I guess, but I think it's a really nice track. Definitely a great choice for the album, and I like that they're incorporating some more velvety tracks. I will move on to track 4 now, which is called Will I Ever See You Again? I knew from the first listen that this would be one of my favorite tracks on the album, and it still is. I just love this song a lot. It is such a great style, and I love the overall sound of this track. I want to say that it sounds like space travel with the synth aspects, but then there's also that constant drum and snappy beat that really adds some dimension, and there's also a sort of raindrop noise that I really like, and it makes the song very surreal and dreamlike. I like how the song starts quietly and increases volume during the intro, and I also really like the sounds that happen at the beginning before the vocals come in that are sort of a whoosh or like laser beam sort of sound. I like the dreamlike and sort of desperate vocals, I want to say, and I think that Joy and Seulgi's vocals fit this song especially nicely. It does sort of remind me of some of the songs from Seulgi's solo album, which is great. There's also a bit of an echoey sound with the voices that just adds to the overall feeling and atmosphere. My favorite lyrics in this song are probably Yeri's part when she says, "The world says that nothing lasts forever, return to orbit and meet again, our story is not over." They do repeat the phrase, "will I ever see you again," quite a bit, but it doesn't bother me at all. I think they definitely use the repetition to enhance the mood of the song, and I think that the music and vocals suit having that repetition. I also love the pause after the bridge before the final chorus, and how the whole song feels like a journey but still has a relaxing element to it. I think it also ties in really nicely with Underwater coming right before and Nightmare following. And I think that it also has some like drama or cinematic vibes to it, and I can imagine this song as an OST actually. I also think that it suits the album because I can sort of picture the Chill Kill music video with this song, or like an extension of the story from the Chill Kill music video with this song playing. So I really like this song, definitely still a favorite. Now I'll move to track 5, Nightmare. I'll start by saying I think this song could be a title track. I really like this song, and to get into it, I'll start with like the rhythm. So we have a surprisingly waltz rhythm to the music, but it's darker, making me think of a masquerade ball. And it also really reminds me of like a dark and unsettling carnival. But then we have a bright and fun sounding chorus, which is what Chill Kill does. So definitely see some similarities, and I think it's fitting for the album. And it starts to make me think of Zimzalabim and the Reva Festival. I definitely get strong imagery when I listen to this song, and I can just imagine like a dream where you're trying to make your way through a crowd of people at the masquerade party or like the spooky carnival, and everyone is just staring at you, but like you can't actually make out any faces because they're all disguised. And it's just like, it's very creepy, but there's something intriguing about it. I like how at the chorus it sort of bounces back and forth. At this point, image-wise, I'm getting more fun carnival vibes, like I'm on a merry-go-round slowly going up and then down. And the vocals are bright and swaying, but there's still something a bit off about the vibes, and it's like maybe this carnival isn't really what it seems, and so my guard is up. The lyrics of the song actually fit my thoughts really well, and they fit the image that I get, so I think it's great that I can really see the vision. The way the whole song shifts mood so much and keeps returning to the initial dark and spooky sound is very cool and very effective, in my opinion. It's just really intriguing, and I feel like I really get pulled in to focus on the song. And like I said, I think it's title track material because it's so dynamic, but it still maintains consistency throughout the whole song, and consistency with Red Velvet's brand as a whole, really. Like, they've really mastered the Velvet and Red sides, and now they can blend them into one song so seamlessly. And like I said, Chill Kill works the same way. It's dark and spooky, but it's also happy and cheerful, and the vocals are used so effectively to convey the emotions that you're feeling throughout the song. It actually reminds me of the Psycho music video a bit, and that was such a great title track, and I love that music video. It's one of my favorite K-pop music videos. So I just think it's a really great track, and I think this album is so good so far. We're halfway through now, and I haven't been disappointed. And I think it's actually perfect that this song sits right in the middle of the album, because it kind of balances out the different styles that they're giving us in all of the tracks. So once again, Red Velvet definitely does a mix of creepy and fun very, very well in my opinion, and I think this is a really cool song and I really like it. Next up is track 6, Iced Coffee. Iced Coffee was one of my initial favorites on the album because I just really love the vibes of it. It reminds me of their song In My Dreams, which was during Feel My Rhythm era, which had very spring vibes to it, but I think iced coffee has more wintry vibes, which is definitely very appropriate for when they released this album and the other vibes that I'm getting from the other songs. And I think that this song is also very cozy. I feel like the members' voices are so crisp in this song, and it's like they're right up close and singing into the mics, and I think it makes it sound so clean. I also like that there's a balance between deep, sort of sleepy tones and light and fluttery tones. I just think that the song is very romantic sounding, and I'm also getting some like fairy tale or maybe just elegant vibes from it, but it also sounds kind of Christmassy to me, which I like. And we also have nice harmonization, and it feels very velvety in a softer and lighter way rather than like a deep and cool way. So I definitely still enjoy this track. I really like the vibes of it, and it's a nice, easy listen. Now I'll move to track 7, One Kiss. This song has the overall vibes and sound of an early 2000s pop song. It feels a little bit more hip-hop and R&B, but with that SM sound infused in and the vocal style that you hear from a lot of SM artists. It does also remind me of Yena's Wicked Love, which we've said before on the podcast has a very early 2000s style to it. And I'm also getting like a certain creepy doll-like sound that makes me think of Dreamcatcher's song Because. I think that Irene and Joy really shine in this song because they have a lot of moments that I enjoy. Like their parts in the first verse are great. I really like when Irene says the line, "Excitement is potion, bold motion." And I also like when she says, "You are all obvious." And at that section, she's sort of dragging out her voice, and it reminds me of Taeyong's iconic parts in NCT's song Limitless. Joy's part in the first verse, though, is so good. It's probably my favorite part of the song, and it's such a good part that it makes me want to replay the song once it's over just to hear it again. And I'm specifically talking about the part when she sings the line, "I tell you what I like." And I just love that part. I love the way that she says "like," and I love how she comes in with like so much attitude, and the beat drops at that part too, and I really start to vibe with the song, and it's just such a good part. There's also one of those instances in the song where the music at the beginning of the final chorus is different and it's simpler like at the start of the song before it really picks up again for a big impact. And I love when that happens and it's done effectively. It just makes the song more interesting, especially if a song is repetitive, but this one isn't like annoyingly repetitive or anything, but it just adds another element to keep me listening until like the song is completely over. I don't remember if this song stood out to me that much when I first listened to the album, but I definitely really like it now, and it's one of my top tracks from the album. Okay, this song is a little wacky, I will admit. You know, there's a lot of glass smashing and little English lines like the iconic bang crash oops line, but I like it. I think that it's kitschy and it's very fitting for Red Velvet's concept. And I also think it's a really great choice to have after One Kiss because I think that the rhythms are similar. I think of Hypnotized by the Boys when I hear this song. And it also sounds like it could be a Girls' Generation song. And then there's the Vroom Vroom parts at the end, of course, where it's almost like we're turning into Gravity My Turn. And I am a My Turn enjoyer, so I'm liking Bulldozer. I think it's fun. When I first saw the track list for the album, I was a little confused and surprised to see that near the end of the album there was a song called Bulldozer, because, you know, I was looking at the other titles and I wasn't really sure how Bulldozer was going to tie into the concept and fit with the aesthetic it seemed like they were going for, but I think it fits on the album. I think it has its place. I like the "I'm your poet, I'm your pain" line. I feel like that's probably an obvious line to like, but Wendy's tone really shines through for me on that line. I also like when Joy says, "Because that's me," and when Wendy says the line, "Sorry you got in my way," because they're both such unbothered phrases, and like I think that they're funny lines because of the attitude. And I just feel like the song is a little bit silly and funny. It's a little bit quirky, but it also has like a full, deep sound. And so once again, Red Velvet is balancing different styles, but they're making it work, and like it's coming together as a cohesive track. And I like it. Now I'll move on to track 9, Wings. So we're starting this song with basically a choir of angels, and it's almost having an ASMR effect on me. I just think that this song is very sweet and very comforting, and I think we can get that right away. It definitely has an old school sound, so I'd say it's actually not one of my favorites in terms of the overall sound, but I do really like the lyrics of this song, and it might have my favorite lines among this album. It's just a nice message, and there's also a lot of seasonal or weather related lyrics, which I usually like. And I also like the peaceful energy that it has. It makes me think of like childhood, and I honestly feel like it could be a song for children, like just in a gentle and inspirational sort of way. I feel like Yeri fits this song well, and I picture her vibe among the members when I listen to this song. I think that the verses are my favorite because there are a lot of lyrics that I really like. Like I like Irene's line in the first verse when she sings, "My heart has become stronger like a diamond," and I love the way that Wendy does her lines, especially the "in the cold wind that shakes you" line, and I do like the second verse lyrically as well. I was pretty surprised though to find out that this wasn't the last track on the album, because when I was listening to it, it seemed like a conclusion, like the outro with just clapping, and their harmonization and the lyrics really make it seem like a final track to me. But I will move on to the last track now, which is called Scenery. I don't know if this is considered an official fan song, but it definitely feels and sounds like one. It's very sentimental and it's very peaceful, but also in like a melancholy way. And it also sounds like a lullaby, and so I guess it makes sense to have as the last song, but I could still see Wings working as well. I really love the way Joy sings her line, "Never freezes in the middle of winter, the blue sea filling up the summer." It's a very sentimental and gentle song. It's not like a power ballad with a lot of elements, so I don't really find myself going to it that often, but when I'm listening to the full album, I think it is nice to have it included. It's very soft and pretty, and I like that it makes me think of Red Velvet's Story and Reveloves. Overall, like I said, this was one of my favorite K-pop albums in 2023, and I really loved it when it came out, and I still love it. I think that each track is very fitting with the Red Velvet brand, and as I've been saying, there's a great mix of red and velvet. While I am personally more of a red enjoyer generally, I appreciate that this album has a darker and wintry feeling overall, because it was released late in the year and it's called Chill Kill, so I think that they infused a little more velvet in each of the tracks. You know, the songs that have the red elements almost come as a surprise, like with Nightmare and Chill Kill. Like you're not really expecting it to suddenly sound all bright and cheerful. And then the more mellow songs like Scenery and Iced Coffee are a little softer and lighter in a way, but they still manage to have that wintry and cozy feeling to them. So I think that they're included very nicely. Generally, the track flow is nice, and I think it doesn't ever really fall flat. I'd say that the way the members use their vocals is really what makes Red Velvet songs stand out, There are so many nuances to the tones, and I think that they make the songs work. And I think that's definitely noticeable if you watch their recording behinds. You'll really notice how many little details they add to the songs, which is something that I really like about Red Velvet songs, the fine details. I love the ad-libs and like random sounds that are thrown in but somehow work cohesively. And I also think that the members are able to adjust their tones so that they suit the song and the style of Red Velvet as a group and as a brand. Even when they're singing in a chorus, you can sometimes notice one member's vocals stand out more than the rest, but I think that the member that you can hear more fits the vibe of the song well. And I like that I can listen to a Red Velvet song a few times, and on the next listen I'll hear another detail that I didn't notice the first few times, and it keeps me wanting to listen to the song again. And I also like the way that there's so many parts that are catchy, not even because of the lyrics or the instrumentals, but the way the members sing. And I just think that their tones are great and unique, which I think is something very important for being able to give your group its own sound. Red Velvet is really great at creating and maintaining a concept while not overdoing any particular sound. And I think that there's a good balance of styles within the instrumentals and even the vocal color of the members. So I really like the album, and it was definitely worth the wait for another full album. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the album, so you can comment your favorite tracks or any random thoughts that you had while listening. And if you've enjoyed hearing my thoughts, you can like the video on YouTube. Remember to subscribe to the BlushCat channel on YouTube and turn on notifications, and also follow BlushCat on Spotify. Also remember to follow BlushCat's other host, Devin, at Devin Christie. Thank you for listening. Stay meowing. This has been Courdy Roy.